Hello everyone, welcome back to STW Sport. I'm host Sam, you're right here with Blackburn Rovers fan Jack Ward. Now please tell me, Jack, what's it like supporting Blackburn Rovers?
Can be a bit of tops and turns,
Yeah.
especially more recently. It's definitely a far cry from the days, unfortunately, before I was born, but it's certainly an interesting team to follow.
Yeah.
And it can be very up and down, particularly the past few seasons. It can be very stressful, very frustrating to be a Blackburn fan.
Yeah.
You see the potential there, but you never quite get over the line.
Yeah, I mean, of course, despite everything going on at Blackburn right now, you do have a Premier League title. I mean, how much is that talked about around the games to remember? It's 25 years ago, so not exactly that long ago either, really.
I mean, fortunately, because I say it was before I was born, it's not something I ever got to experience, which is sad. As I say, I started watching sort of 2007 era onwards, so
yeah.
I sort of missed out on the glory days, but it was very... It is fondly remembered, obviously. It was a time when we had a lot of cash and sort of we were in a nice position. Obviously, Jack walked up with a lot of money into the club, which was, we had a lot of success, in the Shearer Sutton era. And I think people do look back on it fondly, obviously, if you're going to.
Yeah.
But more recently, it's just been about getting the club to be stable and sort of in a better position than we have been. So I wouldn't say nowadays it's as talked about, but it's certainly fondly remembered.
Yeah.
Will we ever get there again is probably a very, very debated question, but I can see us getting in the Premier League, maybe not into that position again.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
That's fair enough. And of course, with Blackburn as well, it's been many twists and turns since getting relegated in 2012. Did you expect the club to be in this position for such a long time, or did you hope you'd be back a lot sooner?
Initially, when we first came down, and it's not just myself, we all thought we'd come straight back up.
Yeah.
We had the squad to go straight back up. And even at one point, I think the season after we came down, we finished 17th. We had a bit of a rough ending to that season. But then the year after, we finished it was in the top half, and we had Jordan Rhodes, Rudy Gestede, players that you think with how they were playing, how we were scoring, we should have been in and around the top six. We should have been going up really. And then it's just been a little bit of mismanagement with countless revolving door managers and everything else that's put us in a position where we've been struggling to go up. We've been struggling to get into that promised land of the top six, and we're getting closer. We keep edging closer, but it's not happened yet.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be anywhere near as long as we have been. It's been 10 years now.
Yeah, nearly 10 years. Yeah, 2012 it happened.
So hopefully not for much longer, but
yeah.
It's certainly been a lot longer than I thought it would have been.
But yeah, you've been through plenty of managers, Blackburn Rovers, in the last few years. What do you make of the job Tony Mowbray's done at the club?
Well, he steadied the ship. Albeit he took on the club far too late in the season to save us from going down to League One. We had a really good percentage win rate with him when he took over, but it wasn't going to be enough. At that point, we'd already sort of done the damage for the season. We were going down effectively whether we liked it or not. But since he's had the backing of the owners, the money's been put where the mouth is, and we've been bringing in clever transfers rather than just spending money left, right and centre. He's done a fantastic job of not just developing the team, but developing everything around it. He's done a lot with the academy, a lot with the recruitment, a lot with bringing in backroom staff who know what they're doing, and you can see it coming through in the signings that we're making now and the players that we've got coming to Blackburn. Recently, obviously, deadline day just a few days ago, we've signed players from Liverpool, loan players from Man City, so we're actually making clever moves rather than just signing anybody or making unrealistic signings, because that's one thing that we have done in the past. Try to make unrealistic signings.
Yeah. So, do you have a favourite ever Blackburn Rovers player?
Morten Gams Pedersen.
Well, yeah, a lot of people say Morten Gams Pedersen in the recent era. Yeah.
Best left peg in the league. No, he was my favourite player. He was one of the reasons I got into supporting the club. I loved everything. His free kicks were phenomenal. His delivery was something else, and I was actually gutted when he left. Sadly, he did a talk at the club last year. Sort of a Q&A, sit down an evening with him. Unfortunately, couldn't get tickets, but and I was working as well, unfortunately. But it would have been nice to
see him.
But he was always like my favourite player, and I think probably the player that sort of drove me to liking Blackburn, I guess.
Yeah.
And then more recent times, I'd be stupid if I didn't say Bradley Dack.
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic. Obviously, he's been a player for us that has effectively led the charge. Adam Armstrong again, fantastic player.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pedersen's probably all-time favourite.
Yeah. So do you have a favourite ever manager at all?
I loved Mark Hughes when he was there. Again, it's probably from a point of view where obviously I've not been following us through our glory days. I've seen a lot of managers, but none that have done a particularly solid job in the time that I've been following us. But definitely, I do like Mowbray. I think he's very good. And I feel like he's steadied the ship. And I did particularly like, I mean, not my favourite at all, but Gary Bowyer did a good job for us for a season or so. He just didn't have, he'd sort of been thrown in the deep end, didn't have the backing that Tony Mowbray's got. But Tony's an experienced manager, and I do like him. I think he's been obviously probably not just me, but our favourite manager in recent times, because he has actually done what he set out to do.
Yeah. Do you think Mowbray is the right man to take the club forward, or would you maybe leave it to a younger manager, take a chance on someone with a bit less experience?
I mean, I'd say now at the moment, I wouldn't want another managerial change. I feel like we've finally got steadied. We are finally in a position where everything feels positive, but something's got to give eventually. And with the money that has been put into the club, especially recently, there's going to have to be a return eventually. It's all well and good saying every year, yes, we're going to get playoffs this year, or we look good this year, but then nothing happening. So I think we need to get into that position of just we need to do it sooner rather than later. And I feel like he's probably got. I feel like the owners trust him, so it's probably going to be a year or so before we're in a position where they'll be looking to get rid if he hasn't achieved it by then. But realistically, with the money we're spending, we need to.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned as well about Armstrong and Dak. How important are them two players for the club, like going forward as well, do you think?
Armstrong, I feel, has become more important than Dak in more recent times anyway. I mean, given that Dak's been out with an ACL tear, we don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back. I mean, I know he's close to coming back, but we don't know what sort of player he's going to be like. Armstrong has become our sort of talisman, our key man. And when he's not playing well, you can see the effect. It's different. Keeping hold of these players is what's key. I'm happy that we've kept hold of Armstrong. I'm happy Dak's been here as long as he has. We've got players like Lewis Holtby, who he's been fantastic. Again, recently, Tyree Stolen, who was signed from Preston, he seems like a wonder kid. So it does look like we are going to be in a position where we can challenge, but we need to keep hold of our best players.
What do you think the future holds for the club, Blackburn Rovers, at the moment?
I mean, I think we could seriously push for at least the playoffs this year. I wouldn't go as far out saying we're going to get automatics, and I wouldn't even go far out saying we'd win the playoffs if we got there. But I think we should, with the squad we've got on paper, we should be challenging for the playoffs now. Yeah,
of course, like I say, you didn't expect to be in the be down in the divisions for this long as well. You did spend one season in League One, but luckily you got out of that in one season. How important was that?
I mean, it could have been torrential. I mean, you've seen it with clubs. I mean, obviously there's financial circumstances, but look at teams like Wigan and Portsmouth and teams like that who go down and then go down again, and then it just steamrolls Blackpool. Teams like that. Just
the money as well. The money losses you mentioned.
Yeah, the money goes, and then you lose all your best players, and then your confidence goes, and then the club just hasn't got that same feel around it. And I like to think that a lot of Premier League fans are quite not maybe fond of us, but we're known for being a sort of a steady Premier League team, and I don't want that to die out a little bit. And it was nice to get straight back up and have a good season, which we did, and it was a bit of morale really. It was nice to go around and instead of losing games 3-1, 2-1, it was nice to be winning games 3-0, 4-0, and actually feeling like we'd got this league in the bag kind of thing. And obviously it would never look like it being any other teams other than us and Wigan that went up that year. Which helped us as well to have a positive feeling around the ground, and then to come back into the Championship with a bit of morale rather than just feeling like it was the same old kind of thing.
One thing I do want to ask, what's your favourite win against a big club that you've ever got? Like when you're in the Premier League, biggest win over one of the top teams?
I remember it's the season that we were struggling. It's the season that we went down in the Guru, and we won 3-2.
Old Trafford.
And it was an insane game.
It was Sir Alex Ferguson's 70th birthday. We didn't know that as well.
It was, and I remember they were putting all this coverage on, and it looked miserable as hell in the ground because obviously we went 2-0 up, and then they brought it back to 2-2. You scored, and quite late on, Grant Hanley scored.
Grant Hanley did score.
He's dreadful, and he nodded it in, and everyone just went mental. But that was one of my favourite, because at the time no one expected it, given how poor we'd been. No one expected it. to happen
Yeah.
the way it
I mean,
did.
you actually drew Liverpool away in the same week as well. On
Yeah.
Boxing Day, which was even, you know.
Another game I really enjoyed was Liverpool, actually when we were in the Championship, when we were in Liverpool in the Cup.
Yeah.
And we took them to a replay, and all I remember is our goalkeeper at the time, he wasn't our first choice at the time, he was one of our goalkeepers, came up for the corner at the last minute,
Yeah.
volleyed it off of his chest and
Yeah.
hit the post.
Yes, I do remember. That was very close.
And it would have just been amazing,
Yeah.
because we would have obviously taken Liverpool out. It is what it is, but that's probably the fondest one I remember, just in recent memories, is when we beat United 3-2.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I want to ask as well one more question. Well, you got a prediction for where you're going to finish the season?
I'm going to be optimistic, I'll say 6th.
6th. Fair enough. That is a good optimistic prediction that I think every Blackburn fan needs to hear, to be fair. Right, anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you, Jack, for being a guest on the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.